Welcome back to Nightcap Chat, the pop culture podcast. We talk all things comic books, video games, movies, TV shows, and more. Today, we are talking isolation movies and TV shows. I'm Blade O'Neill.
I'm Lance O'Neill.
We were trying really hard to not bring up the coronavirus in Nightcap Chat. But now we're at the point where it seems inevitable. So here we are.
Well, it's hard to do pop culture when there's literally no pop culture going on because of this. So
yes, literally pop culture is being canceled. We recorded last week's episode 2 weeks before St. Paddy's Day there. Following the recording of the last episode, like everything just got canceled. Emerald City Comic Con, WonderCon. We'll see about Phoenix Comic Con. That's still up in the air. And then, of course, big events like Coachella. So, and as you can tell, the audio quality is a little different in this episode, and it probably will be for at least a couple weeks here, because we are recording from our own separate recording places. Lance is at home. I am at home in the usual Nightcap Chat studio. So we are social distancing as we are recording this.
Yes, trying our best to stay away from each other.
Yes. So we thought, since everybody is at home and is probably going to be consuming more media, whether it's movies, TV shows, comic books, video games, we're going to do an episode on some of our favorite movies and TV shows that we recommend you guys all check out as you run out of things to watch on Netflix or Hulu or renting. But that's also kind of what's going on in the world, is essentially the coronavirus. But we're going to make the most of it.
Yes, we are.
So we're going to start with some movies today. All right. I'm going to let you go first. I'm going to let you pick the first movie that we're going to recommend.
Movie. So I guess if you go with first, you just have to do with what you absolutely have to watch, right?
However you want to do it. My list is a little arbitrary in as far as order.
Okay, I think I'll just start with what's obvious. If you haven't seen The Lord of the Rings, I don't know where you've been living, but you need to watch that.
Okay, that is on my list for sure. I want to add to that by saying, like, even if you have seen Lord of the Rings, watch Lord of the Rings again.
Or watch the extended version. That's the biggest thing. If you haven't, a lot of people I'm sure have seen it, but if you haven't seen the extended versions of all of them, then you're missing out on almost an entire whole movie.
I'm only referring to the extended versions when I say watch Lord of the Rings. Like, to me, like, that is the only way to watch it.
100%. Because the Return of the King is like 4.5 hours or something when you watch the extended version.
Yeah, like 4:15, I think.
Yeah, and it's not like it's boring, really, like, just extra useless content. It's actually like a whole extra story.
Well, the first thing on my list, this is my instinct, and I'll be shocked if it's not on your list, is Princess Bride.
Oh, 100%. It's on my list. Yeah, this is the next one to talk about.
I think there was speculation that they were going to do a remake. Probably not true, but we'll see. But if you have not seen The Princess Bride, it's one of those kind of like 80s. I don't want to call it a cult classic because that makes it sound like it's weird, but it's not weird. It's like it has a fun love story, but it's also funny and it's entertaining. It's charming. There's some interesting characters.
There's some fight scenes.
Yeah,
it has such a well-rounded, it has like a little bit of for everybody. If you love stories, then this is up your alley. If you like comedies, it's up your alley. If you like, like action adventure movies, it's up your alley. It has like a little bit of everything. Fantasy.
A lot of fantasy.
A lot of fantasy, and so it's really a well-rounded film, and it's so good, so well done, well acted.
Yeah. It's kind of hard because there's so many things I want to say, but I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it. But I will say that this movie I have easily seen maybe 100 times.
Yeah, that's Me too. That's
being on TV. I guess just from being on TV and having the VHS. I remember too.
It's definitely one of those movies. If you see that it's on, you're watching it.
Yeah, I turned it on just a couple weeks ago because it was on. I was like, oh, I haven't seen this in a little bit. I liked it so much that when I was taking my media productions classes in high school, I actually started to rewrite it to, come up with a script because, and this isn't a spoiler, but in this particular movie, the movie is being told through a grandfather reading the story to his grandson. Is this his grandfather or is his uncle?
I want to say it's uncle now that you said that.
Yeah, because I was like, wait, maybe it's not grandpa. Well, regardless, he's reading it to his grandson or nephew or whatever it is. And to me, like, it turns into a box narrative, and it didn't need it. It could have just been a story, and they rolled with it. So I wanted to take the book, and I honestly, I didn't get far. I think I wrote like the first page. I had the book, and it was just kind of me doing my own kind of introduction to it. I didn't think I needed it. But it's such a big part of pop culture because you look at Deadpool 2, they re-released it in the PG-13 cut, and what they added with Deadpool reading the story to, I forget the actor's name now, but that's a direct reference to The Princess Bride because that actor was the little boy in The Princess Bride. So like this, it's a big part of pop culture, and if you're not familiar with it, now's the time to become familiar with it. Yeah, especially the famous, "Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die."
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely for me a top 10 movie of all time.
Yeah. And I don't think I have 10 movies here, but I definitely was one of the first to come to mind. So what do you got next?
So this one, I tried to get like a wide variety. I wasn't just going with, I'm going to get my top 5 because then it'd be just Star Wars. I have a
stupid movie on here too.
Okay. So I actually picked a bunch of kind of just, different varieties for people. So Snatch.
Oh, I did not write that one down. That is such a good one.
Like if you love like gangster movies
this is a Guy Ritchie film.
Right. And it has so many good actors it's early on into their career too. And it's such a funny movie. And it has a lot of big actors in the movie, and it's like early on to their career. And it's just one of those movies that you can quote, like all day. There's so many good lines in it. It's just it's just such a good film. Brad Pitt's in it.
Character piece, yes, and probably Brad Pitt's best performance. I don't even care.
It's up there. He was great in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which honestly, now that I'm saying that, that's the film that I probably would say, if you haven't seen that, it's a decent film to go watch. But he's in it. Jason Statham's in it. Who else is in it? Oh my gosh, there's people, and I'm drawing blanks on their names.
Benicio del Toro.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
He's so good.
I forgot he's in that. Yeah, he's so good in that.
What's his face? Who plays the Juggernaut?
Vinny Jones. Anyway, great movie. If you love those kind of like gangster, funny type movies, it's definitely one of the greatest of all times.
Yeah, and Lenny James is in there. Who plays Morgan in the Walking Dead. I think that was a pretty early role for him too, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, Dennis Farina, who's funny actor. Phenomenal cast. It's really filled with character pieces. It is, it's rated R though. So if that's not your cup of tea, then don't watch it. But definitely, gosh, I'd have to call it one of the greatest movies of all time. But it's got to be your cup of tea. And in that same vein, if you like Snatch, you'd probably like a movie called Rock and Rolla. It's also a Guy Ritchie film. It's very, very similar. It's got those character pieces there. My next one, I'm gonna bring this down to the other end of the spectrum here. This is another movie I've seen a fair amount of times. It's pretty stupid. I'll admit that right off the bat. But you have to be in the mood for stupid to watch this. But as far as stupid movies go, I mean, this is where it's at for me, and that is Dodgeball.
Oh my gosh!
What? Dodgeball? True underdog story.
You can dodge a wrench. You can dodge a ball.
Dodge a wrench. You can dodge a ball.
That is a good movie.
So Ben Stiller, Vince Vaughn, Rip Torn, I think Justin Long, and Blake Lively, right, is the girl, I think.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
Oh.
I could
Okay, I thought it was somebody else.
Or no, I'm sorry, you're right. It's not Blake Lively. It's Ben Stiller's wife.
Was it?
Yep. That's the blonde?
Really?
Yeah. You didn't know that?
Yeah, no,
Christine Taylor. Yep.
That makes it so awkward now.
Why? Because he wrote that movie and she still ended up in Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
So like this movie is really stupid. Like
it's extremely
really stupid. You have to be in the mood for the stupid comedy. Really it's about these guys at Average Joe's Gym. They're going out of business, so they try to enter a dodgeball contest to stop them from going out of business because they're going to get bought out by the conglomerate of Globo Gym, who is owned by Ben Stiller's character, who's kind of like a meathead kind of guy. It's as silly as it sounds. So
and if you are into those stupid movies, or just in the mood, make sure for that movie you stay for the after the credit scene. There is an after the credit scene.
Oh, yes, there is.
And we missed it. Like we went to the movies to see this like 3-4 times, maybe even more. Yep. But we missed it the first time. We didn't even know about it. And when we went back, we ended up seeing it, I think, the second or third time.
Yep. You're absolutely right. There's an after the credit scene. What you got next?
All right. So I'm going to stay with you with the stupid thing.
Okay.
But this is a better movie. It might not be as stupid because I think some of the jokes you kind of have to maybe, kind of get. But Monty Python, the Holy Grail.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's stupid, but it's British humor, so it's not like this mindless, kind of stuff. Yeah. Wow. Good.
Right. But I mean, that's a great classic. If you haven't seen it, again, another classic one, quotable one, good lines, great. There's so many different scenes and everything to that.
And as far as British humor goes, I think this is the most accessible one to the general audience. Because, I mean,
yes.
Even if you don't care for British humor, people still like Monty Python and the Holy Grail. You may not like Monty Python's other stuff necessarily, but everybody likes Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah, I have watched a couple other Monty Pythons, and I was just like, meh. Like, it had some good scenes, but like it just really wasn't worth watching the entirety of it. But this one, 100%, has a constant, keeps you going and laughing the whole way.
And so, depending on where you are able to watch this, or if you're able to purchase it, because sometimes even digitally you get bonus content. I think Vudu comes with like the extra stuff. There's since the DVD release, they did in the middle of the movie. There's a Knights of the Round Table song. It's pretty silly, but they redid it in Lego. And it's actually worth watching too, as far as the bonus features go.
Yeah, that was actually great. I remember watching that and loving it when it first came out.
Yep. So that's good stuff. Okay, well then I'll do my last comedy that I have on here. Kind of in the same vein. Like this isn't a stupid comedy, but it is just good comedy. This movie stars your man, Robert Downey Jr. and Zach Galifianakis as Due Date.
Oh, yes. It was a very good... It's very funny.
That was funny. And, Robert Downey Jr. is the straight character to Zach Galifianakis, obviously, but, like, he's so good. He's so good in it. Essentially, Robert Downey Jr., he's trying to fly back home to make it home in time for the birth of his child, as his wife is pregnant, and because of shenanigans, he gets kicked off the plane because of shenanigans with Zach Galifianakis, and because of the whole situation, they have to drive across country so they can make it back for the birth of his child, and chaos ensues. So like Zach Galifianakis is like this, aging out. He wants to be an actor, really bad, but like he's just such a dope. This one's it's a little R-rated too, but not quite as bad as like Snatcher or anything like that. But what
is it R-rated?
I think maybe it's not. No,
I can't think of anything that would be that bad.
Maybe it's not, but they because of the paraphernalia stuff going on, just I wasn't sure because it is done in a very silly way, so it might not be, but really good. Robert Downey Jr. is of course great. Zach Galifianakis is funny. Even if you like him or not, like I think this movie is worth watching.
I 100% agree. I love that movie. I've only seen it once though. I don't know why.
Really? Oh man,
great movie.
That's one of the few movies within recent years that we actually purchased on Blu-ray.
Wow, I can't say that about many movies. I haven't.
Yeah.
Outside of a Marvel or Star Wars movie, I don't think I purchased anything.
Yep. So like that's one of the few movies. Just we love it so much, and my wife and I quote it, all the time. But it's really funny. And I think it flies under the radar too. So what you got next? I'm
gonna go one that's like a cult classic.
I know what you're gonna say. Can I guess it?
Sure. Yeah, you can go for it.
You're gonna say Fifth Element?
No. Okay. So that was the movie I literally was, for whatever reason, I couldn't think of the name of it. And I was going to write it after this movie because to me, these two movies go hand in hand.
Okay. So what is it?
Demolition Man.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Talk about cult classic. I mean, that's like
Stallone.
Yeah.
And you have Sandra Bullock and Wesley Snipes. And it's such a dumb, but yet entertaining and funny.
The three seashells, right?
The three seashells. I've been talking about it at work all the time because this whole toilet paper crisis. I'm just like, guys, just go get 3 seashells. And everyone's just looking at me like, what are you talking about?
They don't know?
Nobody knows. I've told so many people. No. Nobody knows. Which is why another reason why I wanted to talk about it. Because if you haven't seen this movie, this is a great movie. Demolition Man is so good. Basically, it's just about a guy that he gets woken up out of like stasis, right, or whatever, and he was like put on ice because he was. Was it because he was?
I actually don't remember why.
I don't know if it was he got arrested or something. Anyway, so he ends up waking up in the future, and all these things are different, and there's no toilet paper, and he used 3 seashells, which is part of the thing. Anyway, but then he tries helping the police because he's with the police force, and he's trying helping the police, and they do things weird and completely different than they did back then. They're just trying to like work out how to catch this bad guy who's played by Wesley Snipes. But I don't want to say too much about spoiling the movie, but it's just such a good, funny movie.
Yeah, and it's definitely worth funny because like there's little things. I don't even want to give too much away, but like every restaurant in the world is now Taco Bell. Like that's right. That's like one of the things. Like
and there's a president in there that I kind of want to say, but I'm not going to say it. It was hilarious.
I don't even remember what that is, but yeah. It's been a while since I've seen it, but yeah, that's
because they haven't had like a library named after this guy. And it was just like, and he was like, really? This guy was president? It's just such a good movie.
That's funny. Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, so obviously we'll just do Fifth Element, is mine. That's cult classic, Luc Besson movie. Just one of the ones like I don't even want to call it bad, but like it's supposed to be like it's kind of bad, but it's so bad it's good kind of a thing. But like I don't know, maybe it's because I was young when I first saw it, so I never really took it that way.
I still don't think it's that bad of a film. I just think it has some moments that are kind of just awkward, weird. But I think it was well done. I mean, you had Bruce Willis, you have oh my gosh, what's the chick? She's in what's her name? I can never remember her name for some reason.
It's from
she does all the
Jovovich.
Yes,
Chris Tucker, and
Tucker.
This is my favorite Chris Tucker role, and of course, Gary Oldman. How can you?
Gary Oldman.
Wow, Gary Oldman is the bad guy, and of course, what is his name? I have the cast pulled up, and for some reason he is not showing up. Oh, here he is, Ian Holm. Ian Holm is in it. He plays like this priest. Yeah, I mean, it's from 1997. You know, you'd almost think it was a little older because of some of the costumes and effects. You know, it's kind of campy, you know.
But it's so good. It's not going to win an Oscar.
I'm a meat popsicle. And it's an important part of pop culture too, because I mean, like, how often do you see memes with multipass? You know, like you have to know multipass. You know, that's all there is to it. I mean, this is also it's like a fantasy, and it has a little love story and comedy. It's a very good film. Okay, so my next one I have to do next because there's one really important thing about it that directly involves The Fifth Element.
Okay.
This next movie, fun fact here, while they were filming The Fifth Element, they had to stop production for some reason. Like, I think Bruce Willis had to go do something or go do pickups for another movie, so they had to shut down production for a few months before they finished it. So Luc Besson wrote a little indie movie, put it together, and he shot it, and he brought Gary Oldman with him. That movie was The Professional. It was just a little pet project in between Fifth Element. And my goodness, like, this is not a comedy. This is not funny. This is not a so bad it's good thing. Like, this is literally just a good movie. Such a good movie. Natalie Portman's first movie. She's 11 years old, I believe, in it. Jean Reno is the main guy who plays Leon. My goodness, it is so good. All of the performances from Jean Reno to young Natalie Portman to Gary Oldman, like, they're phenomenal. I will warn you, it's a little weird.
Very.
There's especially one of the particular dynamics, but you know, it is a little weird, but it's so good. It is the performances alone, like, it is such a good movie.
Yeah, it is well done for something that was just kind of just, hey, let's just do this little thing real quick, and it is extremely well done. A very good movie.
Yeah, so I mean, that's my recommended one.
Okay, I think I still got a couple more. Trying to decide where to go with this, but all right, I'll do one. It's a little funny, and it actually happened. It actually was kind of mentioned again in pop culture recently, at least at the Super Bowl, was Groundhog's Day.
You just reminded me of another movie that I have to put out there. Okay, yes, Groundhog's Day. Okay, absolutely.
Groundhog's Day. They just did it in a whole commercial. If you saw the commercial with Bill Murray and you didn't understand it, it's because you need to watch this movie. Basically, he keeps waking up and every day is the same day over and over again. And he hates Groundhog's Day. And then eventually I don't want to spoil anything, but you know, it's a comedy. There's a little love story in it. It's a very good film. Obviously it's well acted. It's Bill Murray.
Little bit of everything. Like, there's even a couple of serious things too, you know.
100%.
You know, there's a journey of the character, of course. So a little bit of everything, and just, yeah, classic. I see it's like these must watch, you know, movies.
Right. If you haven't seen this, then I don't know what you've been doing for your life, but it's definitely something that you have to watch. And I know there's other people in it. Chris Elliott's in it. Andy McDowell's in it. I want to say there's one more person, one big name actor, but I can't think of it. But yeah, it's just so well done. I don't know. That movie came out a while ago too. It came out in 93. Wow. I didn't realize it was that old.
I actually thought it was older.
Really?
Yeah.
You thought it was older than me?
Yep.
Wow. I didn't think it was.
I just thought it would have been like late 80s.
Really?
I mean, obviously I'm wrong. So something you said is like sparked this in my head, and I'm literally ashamed that I did not put this on my list to begin with. And I'm not sure that you have seen this.
Me?
Yep. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. Probably my favorite comedy of all time. And it's this is a movie directed by the Coen brothers. And it's a very Coen brothers movie. The Big Lebowski.
Really?
Yes. Have you seen The Big Lebowski?
Movie? Parts of it, and I honestly, it's not my cup of tea.
It is. It is weird, but it's so funny. It's so funny. If you do like The Big Lebowski too, there's another movie called Burn After Reading that the Coen brothers do. It's really good, and one called The Men Who Stare at Goats, which isn't as good as the other two, but it's okay. But The Big Lebowski, Jeff Bridges is the main character, plays the dude. You know, you always see that costume. You know, people cosplaying it at Comic-Con and stuff. John Goodman plays one of his friends, and so does Steve Buscemi. Julianne Moore is in it, and she plays a very eccentric kind of artist. John Turturro's in it. Plays a character called Jesus. Philip Seymour Hoffman is in it. Sam Elliott. Peter, is it Stormare, I believe it's called. Or I believe you pronounce, or that's how you pronounce it anyway. It's just good. It is funny. I almost want to tell you the plot, but I also don't, because it's just so simple. And because the one thing that kind of perpetuates the rest of the story is just so ridiculous that it goes on this kind of venture just because, you know, something happened to his rug. You know, essentially, like that's the driving plot of the story here. So good. You know, Jeff Bridges is a phenomenal actor. Cannot recommend it enough. And I'm ashamed it was not on my list before I thought of it just now.
So when you said one of those actors' names, it sparked a movie in me.
Okay.
So this isn't a great film. I think it probably falls under like a cult classic, I guess, because it's probably a lot of people wouldn't like it, but I think it's a great movie. It's funny. It's even has some touching moments. But you said Steve Buscemi, and then all of a sudden I thought Con Air.
Okay.
If you haven't seen Con Air, that's a great movie. Basically, it's about a Marine who's just trying to go back home to his family, and he gets put on this airplane with all the literally the worst people on the planet, who, you know, murderers, pedophiles, you know, all these crazy things, and just everything that can go wrong basically goes wrong, and they take over the plane. I don't want to get too much into it, but it has a pretty good cast. It has Bing Rames, Dave Chappelle, Danny Trejo, Steve Buscemi, who's great in it, as always. Obviously, the main actor is Nicolas Cage.
Well, Nicolas Cage and John Malkovich, right?
John Malkovich, he's the main bad guy. It's such a good film.
It's one of those ones that's fun just because of the cast.
Yeah, it's the cast. The cast is what makes it, kind of like Armageddon.
Yeah.
Armageddon's a great film because the cast makes that film too.
That's kind of like part of my point of Professional. Like, even though the Professional is well written, but like there's so many, you know, wonderful performances. You know, I think that's, you know, the appeal of these movies.
100%. So do you have another one, or should I do another one?
I was just gonna say Star Wars, but I don't want to dwell on that because like that should speak for itself.
Yeah, you should see that on Disney Plus right now and just watch it. I mean, what are you waiting for?
I already bought Rise of Skywalker on Vudu because they released it early because of coronavirus, and I watched it again, and I cried because it was so good.
Do you know when it comes out on Disney Plus?
It's going to be months, I think, from now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I just bought it on Vudu to get the extra features and stuff and watch it as much as I want because it's awesome.
I had a couple other things written down. I'm only going to mention this last couple, and it's just because they have a theme. So for those of you like me who are sports fans, and right now there's no basketball, there's no baseball, there's nothing. You don't have anything to watch. There's no sport to watch.
They even canceled esports for a little bit.
Yes, they even canceled esports. The only thing you got right now is Twitch. No. So if you kind of just missed your sports, if you haven't seen Moneyball,
I have not seen Moneyball.
You have to see Moneyball.
Yeah.
If you want to know,
it's a true story, too, right?
100% true story. If you want to know what goes on behind the scenes through a baseball organization, this is the movie to see. and it has a great cast. Brad Pitt's the main character. Main side character is Jonah Hill. Philip Seymour Hoffman's in it. Robin Wright, Chris Pratt. It has a great cast, and it just takes you through what general managers, and players go through in the clubhouse and behind the scenes, and how a small market team with the right direction can make it, even though it has to go up against the Yankees spending $200 million a year and they only have $50 million. And it's just such a well-rounded film. And it also, what I love about it is the psychology that goes behind the general manager, who's Billy Beane, who was the Oakland A's manager, and how he changed even today, how people look at the stats, and it just revolutionized baseball itself. Mm-hmm. Because he was able to take this team with a bunch of nobodies, and they're like, "Oh, your team's garbage. Why are you trading this?" And he's like, "Well, because he gets on base and this guy hits homers, and all you need is on base and homers." And he changed how the game's played today. So it's a great film to see. And a little side, if you're not into baseball and you're into basketball, it's a great classic movie. This is a little rated R, I think.
I don't even know what you're about.
It's not everyone's cup of tea. It's not like a basketball film, but it's a good movie. I like it. Is White Men Can't Jump.
Oh gosh, I haven't seen that in forever.
You've seen it though, right?
Yeah, Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson, I think, right?
Yep.
It's like they're like hustler. He's a hustler.
Yeah, he's a hustler. He goes on the basketball court. He dresses up like some nerdy white guy, and he goes up to people and he's like, "Oh, can I play basketball with you guys?" And then he just totally schools them and just destroys them in basketball. And that's all the film's about. But it's such a good film. It's funny. It's entertaining. Again, it's one of those films that's just about the cast. Rosie Perez is also in it. But yeah, if it's something you haven't seen, you're into basketball, something you might like, or just shooting hoops with friends, then it's definitely a film you should watch.
Yeah, no, I liked it. It's been I've only seen it once, and it's been a long time. There was a weird thing on Stars. Like I kept watching Wesley Snipes films over the course of a period of time, and I can't even tell you what they all were.
I can't even think of many that he's in that we haven't actually already mentioned. Two probably best films.
Yeah, besides Blade. Yeah, that's kind of
besides Blade. Yeah,
that's pretty funny. So let's close here with a few TV shows here. I'm going to start with this one because I know you have nothing to say about it. So I'm going to recommend She-Ra, which is on Netflix, the new DreamWorks She-Ra. I love it. I got hooked on it because my wife loved the original She-Ra, and I saw her watching it. I was off doing something, I don't know, some work thing, and I came home and I kept seeing little parts, and then I saw the finale and I was like, wow, this seems really cool. And this Catra character seems really awesome. And there's 4 seasons of it. I'm obsessed with it. When we were at your gender reveal party, our friend Amanda brought her daughter over with some Sonic, and in the Sonic toys they had little She-Ra magnets, and I was trying to buy the Catra magnet off of Amanda's 4-year-old daughter. I was trying to give her $5, but Amanda ended up giving it to me. She gave it to Erica to give to me before they left. So I have this Catra magnet now. So when she hears this when she's older, I have the Catra magnet. It's in my book room. Anyway, I love She-Ra. It's on Netflix. So
Well, I'm gonna mention one that you're not gonna have much to say because I know you've seen it. And I'm only going to mention it now because I want you to watch it. And I wasn't even going to talk about it. It's not even written down. But if you haven't seen The Witcher, you have to watch The Witcher. It's so well done. If you read the books or played the video games, I played the games, and it's awesome. They did it so well. They did it so much justice. Really? From people that played the game or just people that just watched it?
I don't know.
Because I've only heard something bad from someone who hasn't played games.
Maybe that's what it was then.
That could be it. Because I know some people don't like how the main guy, Geralt, is played, but he's playing it exactly how the game and the books play.
Yeah.
So It could just be not, they don't just like how he is, but I love it. It's so well done. Me and Alicia just burned through it in a day, and it was just so good.
He seemed like he did fine. I mean, like I had an audition a few weeks back that referenced another character, like an example, like play it kind of like this. So I won't say what it was, but like I watched it because of this other character that was in it, not the main guy. And obviously he was talking with Henry Cavill's Witcher character. I mean, it seemed fine. So, I mean, whatever. It's also on Netflix.
I love it.
So one you have seen, I've probably brought this up a few times now, but if you have not seen The Amazing World of Gumball, now is the time to watch it. I don't care how old you are. There are so many things that you can appreciate on how just dark it is, like as an adult. Like this is a little kid show, you know,
right.
But like because this takes place in this world where all of the inanimate objects are sentient.
Right.
As you kind of, there's a whole episode based around the inanimate objects and their daily lives. Like literally there's just this universe and mythology behind it. And it's a little, I'm not saying that this is a dark show, but there's things that as an adult, you watch it and you realize like, wow, like this is actually pretty deep. And some of the humor even is, goes over the kids' heads. Yeah.
So it's done something that a lot of the other shows have done is as you watch it, it progressively gets a little, I don't want to say darker, but it gets a little, there's a lot more references where I feel like in the beginning it was, they would do like a little things here and there, but then I feel like, especially the later like the newer seasons, there's a lot of things that I've been like, oh wow, I can't believe they like said that or did that or even mentioning it.
Well, season
it's
one,
so good.
Season one is probably the most childish.
Right.
But then season two, like I think even from the beginning, like it really starts to find a stride. Not saying season one is bad, but season two is when it really starts to get good. And there are things that occur that are, kind of overarching, plot points and characters and such. Yeah, there are.
Is it still going or did they cancel it?
Just ended.
I really, really would love them to just do one more season just after everything that's going on right now. Mm-hmm. I just kind of would love to see what they would say about all of it, but such a good show. There was also the Tinder episode.
Oh my gosh. Yes. There's a whole episode on that where they have to swipe up or swipe down, and Gumball finds the character he's helping. He finds his mother on Tinder and he tries to hide it from him. And he's like, oh, never mind. He swipes it down. Like you find out that like his mother is like cheating on his father through this like app. It's just a little thing. And this character is terrible. Like there's a whole episode talking about like all of these crazy evil things. And I think they find like baby photos of her and she's like this puppet and she's like being sewn together. And I think like her tag says like she was like sewn together in hell or something crazy like that, which I'm like, there's no reason that she was just made that way, like there's no reason or it's worth watching. You can even watch it with your kids and it'll be okay. It's on Hulu right now. I think you can watch most of the seasons now on Hulu.
Yes. Very like Bugs Bunny-esque, one of those, like you can watch it with your kids. They'd have no idea. So I have one that's very similar to yours that I wrote down. It's and I know you haven't seen it, Adventure Time.
I thought about starting it though.
Yeah, you thought about starting it though. Yeah,
I really did.
I know. I'm just teasing. But it's the exact same thing. First episode's very childish. First season's kind of a little childish. Once you get through that, it picks up immensely. There's so many layers to the story. It's one of those. I guess it's almost similar to The Amazing World of Gumball, where there's a lot of weird things that are alive because there's like candy that's alive, but it's more from like the princess that makes candy come alive. But anyway, it's like a post-apocalyptic, and the main character is like a human, but he's like the only human left, and the whole world's just weird, and there's magic and just there's so many deep details. I don't want to get into it without spoiling anything, but 100% I'd recommend it. It's funny. Some of the later episodes are, it has some really cute moments, sad moments. Sometimes it gets a little, not crazy dark, but it gets a little, dark. But it's definitely, I would recommend watching that TV series.
That kind of sounds like, the way like Steven Universe, like the first season was kind of whatever.
Yes.
And the mythology just gets really deep. And I actually didn't write that down. Mostly because like they're on the last season right now. And actually I think the series finale is this Friday, and I'm gonna watch it. But like I'm not happy with the season. It's just kind of, I don't know. Like they did a time jump, and it's just kind of whatever. I feel like this has been nothing but filler. Apparently something just happened. I'm not really sure what, but I mean lots of good mythology stuff in there.
And one thing I'll mention about Adventure Time. Sorry to cut you off, but Adventure Time, it ended, but HBO, I believe it was HBO, just had an agreement for like 4 more episodes, even though it's over. They're like 4-hour-long episodes that they're going to be doing, and it's going to be only on HBO, which I thought was kind of weird and strange, but I'm excited. They ended it, and I was kind of like, oh no, like, and do one little last hurrah. But I think they said it's going to be in the future, so they're going to like jump it, like, I don't know, a certain amount of years, so that way you kind of feel like, oh, I know how like these people ended or whatever, this couple or whatever.
Interesting. So in a little bit of a different vein here, this is not serious, and this is more directed toward people who have already seen it. And I'm bringing this up because I just started this again, and I'm just really enjoying it sitting here in quarantine. I started watching the original Pokemon season 1 and 2 again.
Okay.
And I'm just enjoying it. It's the nostalgia, that's
right. 100%. I love, like, I watch it before I go for the last, I don't know, 2 years, probably almost always watch it before I go to sleep. I'll just put on one of the series of Pokemon and go to sleep.
Yep.
I haven't done it since PlayStation View's been canceled though. And I don't know why, whatever. I don't want to get into that, but I'm upset that they canceled that. But Pokemon is so good. And I didn't realize until watching it like a year ago, the first 2 seasons, Brock says so many things that are like so inappropriate.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe that they got away with it. And I never noticed. I mean, obviously I didn't notice as a kid because you just don't get it. But there's so many things that you're like, oh, wow, I can't believe like they let him get away with that. Like that went through. But it's so good. If you're into Pokemon, that's definitely something to watch or rewatch. 100%. I'd rewatch that all day.
Yeah, and I'm mostly aiming toward rewatch because I'm not sure how much it holds up if it's something new, like unless you're a kid. But definitely nostalgia. Like I was, sitting here in isolation. I started playing Sword and Shield, and my wife was playing Animal Crossing, so I turned Pokemon on the TV while I was shiny hunting for my Feebas. It's mostly the nostalgia, but it's just, I think that's what makes it so much fun. Especially like if you want a little distraction.
How do you watch it?
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix?
Yeah, the Indigo League is on Netflix, and so is, I think, Black and White might still be on there. But yeah, Indigo League is on Netflix. You can also watch it if you, for whatever reason, you don't have Netflix. The Pokemon app has a ton of episodes, like a lot of them from like almost every generation. And while we're on that subject right now, if you download the Pokemon app, there's a mini series that you can watch exclusively on there. That's a Sword and Shield mini series called Pokemon Twilight, I think it is. It's about just some random character. I haven't started it yet. I think there's only like 3 or 4 episodes, but there's only going to be a few of them. There's, I think, like maybe one more coming out, but that's another one that's probably worth watching too.
Huh? I had no idea.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. It's pretty cool.
That's cool.
So I got 2 more shows that are really important to me. So what else you got?
All right. My show, I guess I'll stay in the anime, is Dragon Ball Z.
Okay.
If you haven't seen Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball, you don't really have to watch that.
Don't start with Dragon Ball.
Don't start with Dragon Ball. 100% don't start with
Dragon Ball Z and care about some of the characters before you have to sit through Dragon Ball, I think.
And I would say watch Dragon Ball Super before you watch Dragon Ball. I think that's like, you really don't need to deal with any of that. Dragon Ball Super is great. I know if you have watched Dragon Ball Z, I know a lot of people, they weren't too, some people don't like it. even though they like some animes. But because it sometimes they drag it out.
They do drag it out. 'Cause I tried to get my wife to watch it and she was so bored.
Right. But if you want to try, if you have an idea of what happens, you want to just drop into Dragon Ball Super because it's newer. They don't do it as much. It's not as dragged out. It's so well done. It's so good. They were able to capture like the same things that you loved about Dragon Ball Z. They were able to put in Dragon Ball Super. But yeah, for me, that's a no doubt watch.
Okay. So on Netflix, there's an Irish show called Dairy Girls. Each season is only five or six episodes long. My goodness, it is so funny. I have not been so obsessed with a new show in a long time. Season 3 is coming out, I think, next year. It's going to be the last season. They might do a movie too. You have to watch it with subtitles, at least the first time, because their Irish accents are so thick. You almost have no idea what they're saying, but my gosh, it is so good. It takes place during the 90s. And of course, the 90s in Northern Ireland, they had the problems with all the bombings and the fighting, with the British and stuff. So it takes place during like this very specific time period, from the perspective of these girls who are going to what I think is the equivalent of high school. So like during those years, but the characters are so funny, set to a slightly darker backdrop that really only the adults are dealing with. But it is hysterical, and you even got a little bit of 90s nostalgia in there. They got Cranberry songs going, Salt and Pepper, it's hysterical. And
I would almost say that because I'm going to mention this because we just talked about it. It's almost like if you took like a high school movie from the same universe as Snatch was taken from. And I feel like this would be it. Am I wrong in saying that?
I don't even know. I have to really think about it. I guess because
it's like a UK thing.
Stuff, it's got that kind of humor,
that kind of humor.
The way they talk. Cause like there's the slangs that you'll start to pick up too. Like I already knew some of them. I'm Irish, I'm into Irish culture and stuff. So like looks like good crack, crack means like happiness, it's like the crack is CRAIC, I believe it is. Little things like catch yourself on, like what are you doing? Like, get out of here. Like are you crazy? You pick up on it pretty fast, but so you've seen it.
I mean, I've seen it at your house. You tried making me watch it.
The episode, yeah, it's really good. I mean,
I've seen some episodes. Yeah, it's funny.
It is funny. I've already gone through it probably 6 or 7 times. And they're wow. The episodes are so short. Like you put on before bed, like you're gonna watch it in a couple of nights. But yeah, I mean, I can't recommend Dairy Girls enough.
All right, I have one more written down.
I have one more.
Unless I end up okay, and this one is. So the other ones I kind of was trying to get something that was maybe, weird, haven't seen it, or anime. And then this one's just, to me, the greatest of all time. If you haven't seen it, you must watch. Seinfeld.
Wow.
If you haven't seen Seinfeld, you have to watch Seinfeld. I mean, that's all there is to it. It's funny. It's so well done. Multi-billion-dollar TV show. I mean, you have to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'm not going against you because Seinfeld is probably one of my favorite TV shows of all time for sure. Like I would watch that all day, every day, no problem. I just wonder like if I like it more because I'm from New York.
100%. I think that's a big part of it. Or if you're from a big city, there's certain things that you'll get way more or appreciate more from that show than other people will. But it's just so good. It's so funny.
And I'm not sure how much, like the younger generation will appreciate a lot of it. Cause I mean, it's the pinnacle of 90s television,
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
I get what you're saying.
There's dated, concepts and, and joke stuff, but yes, I mean, definitely one of my favorite shows of all time. I mean, I would recommend that more as a rewatch thing. Like, oh yes,
100%.
I haven't watched that in a while. Like,
and it is one of those shows that you don't necessarily have to watch it in order. So if you, for whatever reason, if you're, if you were around in the 90s and you somehow just didn't watch it, I would just go online, look up the best episodes, watch those episodes, and if you don't like them, then at that point, then just
forget it. Yeah,
just forget about it. But don't just try to just go to season 1, episode 1, and I don't even know what that actually is, because it's not necessarily like, doesn't have to be linear.
It's a sitcom,
It's a sitcom, yeah, right. So, but if I would at least give it a try. Even if you're younger, give it a try anyway. Just try to look at the best episodes.
I am Keith Hernandez, right? Keith Hernandez. So I'm just going to keep throwing out obscure references that you won't understand unless you've seen it. But gosh, there's just, that is fantastic.
I looked into the eye of the mighty fish, mammal, whatever.
It is good, and there's some good pop culture stuff in there as well with Festivus, things like that. Okay, the last, I saved this one for last because season 2 starts again April 15th, I believe it is. Okay. This is a show. Gosh, I want to recommend something else now to get kind of along. I'll just mention it at the end. This is a show called What We Do in the Shadows. This is based on a movie that Taika Waititi did with Jermaine, I think it's Clement. Watch the movie first because, especially if you liked the humor in Thor Ragnarok, imagine that like turned up to 10, except everywhere. So both the movie and the TV show are based on vampire roommates living together. The movie is, based in the UK. And so a documentary crew comes in and they go through like their daily lives and like they have those little interviews about, like those little talking head interviews thing. So the show takes place in America. So like they're 4 vampire roommates actually living in Staten Island.
Wow.
Because that's where the boat dropped them off. It's so funny. It's that kind of whacked out, Taika Waititi humor. It's rated mature, obviously because of the vampire stuff. So like, there's cursing and there's kind of, inappropriate things, but it's hysterical. Season 1 is on Hulu. One of the vampire's familiars, he's a Hispanic guy, and familiar is a human who is kind of like a vampire slave, so under the promise that they'll be made a vampire. So like this familiar, he looks up to Antonio Banderas's character in Interview with the Vampire, talking about like how it was a great representation of like Hispanic vampires in mainstream media. And so like there's a picture of him like cosplaying as Antonio Banderas's character in Interview with the Vampire. It's so funny. I don't even want to give like the best stuff away. But like it's good. And especially if you like something like The Office, which is the thing I wanted to bring up. It's like that, but the humor is vampires. But it's even past that because of the more R-rated kind of stuff. I've watched season 1 probably about 10 times now, I think. Season 2 starts up in just a few weeks. There's rumors that Mark Hamill might be in it. So we'll see.
He's staying busy, huh?
Yeah. Because of the twist at the end of season 1, there's speculation as to who he might be playing.
Is he physically in it?
Yeah, that's the rumors. That's the rumors. I've been trying to avoid all the trailers and stuff. I did notice that. What's the name of the kid?
What kid?
I See Dead People. It's like, but now he's an adult. Anyway, that guy. He's supposed to be in the beginning of season 2 too. I saw the trailer. It's ridiculous. In a good way. In a really good way. Humor goes a long way, and this is the kind of comedy that like I cannot recommend enough.
Yeah, I honestly, until you mentioned it, I don't think I've ever heard of it. You said it's on Netflix?
It's on Hulu.
It's on. Oh, that's probably why I don't have Hulu.
Because it is worth it, and
it's Hulu only. It's just like a Hulu.
I think so because it's an FX show.
Oh, okay.
So you might want to watch the movie though. I maybe rent that from probably anywhere.
Okay.
So the show's good. The movie actually stars Taika Waititi and Jermaine. Yeah. So like they wrote it, directed it, they're in it. So like they're like the vampires. So like especially like that kind of Korg thing. Like I'm Korg. This is me. So like he's like a vampire. Like it's I don't want to spoil it. It's just it's so funny. But that's all I got. Are you done?
I'm done. That's all I had.
Oh, that's our recommendations. You know, we got to keep ourselves busy in these crazy times, these uncertain times. But we're gonna get through this. Like everything is going to be okay. You just got to do what you got to do to stay safe. Everybody's got to do their part. But that's why we wanted to bring you Nightcap Chat here consistently, even if we have to do this remotely. We want to keep bringing you these episodes every week. But tell your friends and family, you know, who are also, you know, social distancing. You know, that really helps us to continue to bring you more content, diverse content. And let us know on social media what are some other good movies and shows. Maybe we can do a follow-up episode. I think next week we're talking about comic books and video games. But we appreciate you all taking the time to listen to us every week. You know, don't forget to continue to like, share, subscribe. You know, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's at Nightcap Chat on Instagram, Nightcap_chat. We're on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Podbean, YouTube, Castbox, and more. Really, Lance.
If you've already seen everything we've recommended, or you went through it all, or you just don't feel like watching it, you can come watch me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Tales of Lance. And if not, you can go back and rewatch all of our podcasts because I'm sure this is episode 47? 45?
I think. Yeah.
45? Okay. So yeah.
But we appreciate you all taking the time to listen to us, and we'll catch you all next week. Be safe.
Have a good night.